Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel and happy release day to CJ Tudor. Her book, The Other People, comes out today. It is the third book by the author. It follows The Chalk Man, which I have read, and The Hiding Place, which I have not. I really enjoyed The Chalk Man. I read it as an ARC in 2017 and it remains on my shelf today. I really like that book. That led me to request The Other People. The Other People follows a few different characters. Primarily, it is Gabe's story. Gabe is a widower. His wife was murdered, and everyone else insists that his daughter was also murdered. But Gabe can't come to terms with that because the night of her murder, he's sure that he saw her traveling in the back of a car on the highway. He has spent 3 years searching for his daughter, trying to prove to everyone else that she didn't really die. We also follow Fran and her daughter Alice and their experiences on the run from some folks who remain a mystery to us for a while. And we follow Katie, who is a waitress who sees Gabe from time to time in his travels searching for his missing daughter. So it's a multiple narrative story, which I really enjoy. I love it when a book throws together these different narratives and I have to try to piece together how they have anything at all to do with each other. The link for these narratives, at least the idea behind The Other People, is that there's a group of folks who can be hired to exact revenge, justice, retribution on people who have gotten away with doing something horrible to you. And they're known as The Other People. And in different ways, Gabe, Katie, and Fran have all been affected by this group of vigilantes, basically. The deal with The Other People is that you can request that they do something for you, clean something up for you, exact revenge on someone for you. And there's no cost. However, if they do you this favor, then eventually you owe them a favor in return, and they can call upon you at any time for any reason, and you are obligated to comply. If you don't, then they will seek revenge for your betrayal, so to speak. So super interesting concept also. So I mean, all of the components are there, right? A killer concept, a book that is formatted the way that I like, something that doesn't go back and forth from past to present, past to present. We are in the present. We are following, three different people who it seems have a lot to lose or have already lost a lot. And the mystery is how they are interconnected, and also what the circumstances are surrounding Gabe's daughter. Is she dead? Is she alive? Is he crazy? Is he onto something? And I have to say, I almost read this book in one sitting. I ran out of time and I got too tired, but I got to about 80% of the book before I had to call it a night. It was that captivating. It was that suspenseful. CJ Tudor does another thing that I love, or that really makes my life difficult, but that I love it anyway. Each chapter is ended with some sort of cliffhanger, some sort of, either a slight twist or a cliffhanger, something that propels the reader into the next chapter. And makes it impossible for us to put the book down. Yeah, she does that. And it just kept me there for 80%. Like I said, if, I wasn't a mom of young ones, I would have probably hung in there and stuck it out and ended up reading this book in one sitting. That's huge for me. I don't do that anymore. I used to have the luxury of doing that, but I can't tell you the last time that I went from 0 to 80 in a book. That should tell you something. That's how into this book I was. There's another thing that you should know that I mean, I wish that I had read The Hiding Place already so that I could be a little bit more conclusive about what I'm going to talk about. But there are some paranormal or some unexplainable things in The Other People that I certainly didn't encounter in The Chalkman. This has some elements that can't be explained, and I don't know if I like that for this book or not. I haven't really decided. I will say that it doesn't impact the story enough for me to love it. Obviously, if I'm still undecided about it, then there's not enough of an impact. I don't feel like I can't live without that paranormal element or unexplainable element. Calm down. We're not talking ghosts and stuff. I don't want anybody to come at me like I've given anything away. I mean, pretty early on, there's some things going on that can't be explained. And that continues throughout the book, but again, doesn't have a great enough impact on the plot of the story, or it's not executed well enough for the plot of the story that I'm like, yes, this book could not have done without that. That's amazing. It's not the case. It's interesting because, again, this didn't exist in the Chalkman, so I was really intrigued that C.J. Tudor was taking it there. And I really wanted to find out what exactly was going on and what the circumstances were. But something about that left me dissatisfied. At the end of the day, when it was all said and done, I was a little bit dissatisfied. And I could say that I was a little bit dissatisfied about the ending of this book in general. I think that there was so much about this book that could have been explosive twists, could have been mind-blowing, but they didn't. They were just sort of explained and then we move on. Like, I think that what happened, the information was impactful, but I don't think it was executed in a way that made it super twisty and super like revealing and like those shocking moments. The book lacked those shocking moments, even though the puzzle pieces and the way everything fits together and the circumstances at its core, this book is a perfect storm of events. Like, if one of these things hadn't happened, there would be a completely different outcome. All of these characters are linked by these extraordinary circumstances, this perfect storm of events. And I just feel like there was so much potential for CJ Tudor to like take it to 10. Instead, everything was delivered and executed in more of a 6-ish kind of way, like okay, that's interesting, or okay, I didn't really see that coming, but makes sense, let's move on. So I don't know that I'm prepared to call the book disappointing. I spent 80% of this book dying for the information, like really into it, like really drawn in, and I can't deny the book that. I can't deny that, especially having read a lot of books in recent months that it's been kind of difficult to get into, or it's been difficult to want to pick back up and everything. The fact that this book came along and accomplished what it accomplished for me personally is impressive. But again, I keep going back to the ending just wasn't as impactful as I believe that it could have been. Likewise, there is a lot going on in this book. I mentioned the perfect storm of events, but we're talking a lot going on in this book so that it almost feels like it could have done without something. It almost feels too much. It almost feels like, especially throwing in that supernatural or paranormal element in, that speculative paranormal, whatever you want to call it, throwing that in, sliding that into this book that has all of these mysteries in it. There are probably, hang on, I'm going to count. There's probably 8 to 10 mysteries in this book. Questions, very, very specific questions that you want answers to. And that also just contributes to the idea that there could have been explosive twists in this book, one right after the other, depending on how the author chose to reveal all of the information to these mysteries. I have a little bit of difficulty with the execution, and I have a little bit of concern over how much is too much. Maybe CJ Tudor could have stepped back a little bit and really focused on revealing more information in just a standard way and then saving something up for an unforgettable twist. If this sounds like the book for you, if you've liked CJ Tudor in the past, just know that it's probably still a worthwhile read, but it does go a little bit down a different path than something like the Chalkman did. If you're still on the fence, or if you have any questions for me that might help you decide whether or not to pick this one up, leave those for me in the comment section down below. Again, this book comes out today. How exciting. I really need to read The Hiding Place now, for sure. So if you pick up and you read the other people, let me know what you think of it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all very soon.